may not listen to that. Alright, let's see. Where are we? Maybe some heavy shit today because we're going up the frickin' Box Hill. I think we know what the right album is for today, or for this race. Harder album. We're going full gas today. We need to switch it up again. Not feeling it. If this doesn't do it, nothing will. I'm bummed out with that. Fuck, man. Damn it. I knew I should have went when I went to 3%, because I didn't have the punch, but I felt like I had a long sprint in me. And I was just too tired, I just lost track. It's ridiculous. That's pretty annoying. Because I killed myself up Box Hill. Man.
Going for yellow on stage 1, so we've got Maori, Cavagna, Seneschal, and then they obviously have half the team is the lead out for Fabio Jakobsen. Mercury is his last man for the Pure Bunch sprints. Anything on those two teams, Benji, before we do Israel and Lotto and then roll into the stages?
What's sorry?
Anything on Quickstep? Is there any? It's pretty straightforward, I think.
It is straightforward. Alaphilippe's going to be fighting for yellow at the start. He's going to try and pull it. I do feel like Alaphilippe should try and pull Alaphilippe style again, like on a stage like Pola, I don't know, the one we had where Hirschi was fighting and
such
so
a
forth.
pest in breaks.
He's going to be that
Who
guy.
was he trolling? Was it Gorky Izagiri who was trolling in that break with Hirschi? He kept attacking and dropping in
I
the
don't
run.
remember.
He's so good, such good entertainment value.
he is for certain, and even a Cavagnac could go on a stage 19 breakaway.
Yeah.
Stuff like that could happen, even though they've got Jakobs. You never know if that opportunity for the breakaway is more unlikely for them. Yeah, I want them to go for breakaway, stuff like that. Bajoli, I want him to step up. He needs to step up. He's been so stagnant recently, and I kind of feel like he's stuck. And I want to see him change about that, because otherwise he's just leaving the team for me if I had to make a decision at the end of this season. But yeah, Alaphilippe's going to be the man there, going to be fighting for the start. I love the Israel team. It's skipping out on Chris Froome, which to be honest is a sunk cost fallacy. Not anymore, because they're not putting more sunk cost into it. Is that how it works?
Yeah, so
Or
taking Froome would be a sunk cost fallacy.
Okay, or is he still a sunk cost fallacy because they're still paying his salary?
Well, I think they should buy him out, but that's maybe an off-season discussion. I really think they should try and buy him out. But yeah, they leave him and Fulsang at home. Froome, despite being an equity, I think having equity in Factor and who own also Black Ink Wheels, said that the reason he didn't perform in the races leading up to this was because of equipment problems. Yeah, so he says he'll be back at the tour next year.
Do the legs count as equipment?
I mean, apparently he trains really hard, so like I'm sort of past the point where it's I want to just bash Froome, but then he says shit like this, and it's like, dude, like you're not. Everyone knows the reality now. Just say you weren't at the level you wanted to be at. Yeah, they take Schultz, Turns, Ul, Bovin, Ul who won a stage last year, Neyland Strong as their sprinter, Michael Woods as a puncher for stage 1, and Simon Clark. So it's a very strong team for breakaways, just like the Giro d'Italia, and that's what they will be focusing on. I don't know if Turns will go for top 10 on GC. He did top 10 with Tour de Suisse, but this is a whole different kettle of fish. I think they're all in on breakaways, and they've got 3 guys, Clark, Uhl and Turns, who have won breakaways in the Tour in the last 2 years, and Schultz was a photo away from being a 4th guy, so they know what they're doing in that aspect.
Woods KOM is also a possibility, I think, looking at this team. I think he tried. Okay, 2021, I forgot which year it was.
With Pools.
Yep, that's certain. And yes, we've got that breakaway team of Israel. I love that stuff. If we go to Lotto, we've got a combination of Caleb Ewan with riders like Maxim van Gils, Friesland, and so forth. I love Maxim van Gils at the moment.
Yeah,
I want to see where he can go. I believe he can win a stage in a Grand Tour. But I do believe that the Vuelta is probably the best Grand Tour for him to try that. I'm not sure the Tour de France is the one where he's going to hit that right the first time around. But you never know. He's going to be in breakaways.
Good.
Yes.
Like, he was against serious guys in the Ardennes.
Yep.
But otherwise, it's a lead-out focused team around Caleb Ewan. It hasn't been that successful so far. Guarnieri is last man for Ewan.
How have we gone this far and haven't said a single thing about Alpecin?
Because we were just getting to the sprint teams. We'll even do Cavendish after Alpecin. But yeah, Alpecin bring Mathieu van der Poel obviously is the going for yellow on stage 1, and then Philipsen is their leader, or Plan B actually, as they call it in the Netflix series. Søren Kragh Andersen, I believe, will be there alongside Rika, maybe some other reverse. They haven't announced yet. They're announcing in about 15 minutes, I think. Yeah, like Philipsen's the best sprinter in the race, and the lead out is depends. Do you think Van der Poel will be giving him lead outs like Baloise Belgium Tour every time?
Yes, I believe the go-to roles for this team is Philipsen with the lead out of Van der Poel with some more riders to lead him out. Breakaway opportunities for Kragh Andersen in a stage 19 if it doesn't go through the peloton and so forth. But mainly if Philipsen needs more points because he wants to go for the green jersey this time around, which I love it. We've got a battle, hopefully. Then in hilly terrain stages where the green jersey points are early on in the stage, then we might see attacks with Philipsen and Van der Poel going in the breakaway together. Van der Poel helping Philipsen to get more green jersey points, and then Van der Poel going on to try and win the stage after. I think there's a stage in there in this Tour de France where I would love to see that happen.
Yeah, but, I mean, they collaborated in Paris-Roubaix to great effect, and I think those two have good chemistry. So I'm keen to see how they make it work in the Tour, because obviously Van der Poel really wasn't in any sort of shape at the Tour last year. You can just draw a line through that Tour de France.
Yeah.
He looked much better at Dutch National Championships and Baloise Belgium Tour in the last month or so. Otherwise, just quickly rounding out the other teams, Cofidis, I quite like their team. They've got Kokard as their sprinter with Zangler, which is somewhat curious. Maybe it's like I don't know how that will work, whether Zangler will be the lead out for Lecoq. But I like both those riders. Renard is definitely the lead out. Gershka missed out on KOM last year. Izagirre will go for mountain bikes, and Martin will go for GC with sort of Perez as the as sort of a miscellaneous climber. I remember he was pulling actually, like even he was pulling at random points when UA and Jumbo decided to stop bashing each other in the Tour last year in a valley before a climb. So I quite like the team. It's basically the best possible team Cofidis could bring, and they're going to try and break a Tour de France stage win drought. Astana have finally brought Boll to lead out Cavendish. They've also brought in Mark Renshaw, consultants all the rage, Benji. These consultants in cycling. As a sprint lead-out consultant, and maybe his first order of business was maybe you should take the guy with Cavendish who you signed to be his lead-out to the same race as that him. Better off Moscon. Louis Leon will try to help with that lead-out. They've got Tejada, who was good in Swiss for sort of climbing stuff, and Lutsenko can always, you never know, Lutsenko can win a stage from a breakaway, and De La Cruz is strong enough as a climber. So, but it is all about Cav here and a Lutsenko stage, I think.
Yes, I think so as well. Lutsenko stage, but I'd love for that to be the aim again. I hope he's not going for a top 10 again in GC, because I like those Lutsenko breakaway stages. The fast weak ones where he would go in that breakaway to do it. You never know, he might still go for top 10. We'll see. But Arkea then, Champoussin, Barguil, those riders are going for photo likes of well, stages, I would hope. They might have signed Champoussin as GC rider, but I don't fucking believe it.
I mean, this team looks a lot different without Nairo sitting at providing structure for GC, right?
Who else is there? Because if we look at Champoussin, they can get stage wins.
Oh, Mozzato.
Yeah, Mozzato, yeah, but he's good at positioning himself, but can't get overriders in the sprint. So he's the kind of rider that might get 7th, 8th, 7th, 7th in sprint.
No Hofstetter.
I don't like that. I'm happy for Mozzato.
Yeah, they're much of a muchness, aren't they? Total brings Sagan and Kras and Bosenhagen and Bergerdo, who's okay. He's just not looked himself, so yeah, I'm not expecting too much from Total, but you never know. I think that's all the teams. Pretty exhaustive run through. Have I missed a team? You
forgot former enemy.
Oh, fine. That wasn't a bit. That wasn't a bit. I promise. Okay, UNOX wildcard team. I am happy they're here. They bring their best possible squad. Tran, who was good recently in the Dauphiné or something. Byron Skold, very, very good rider. I had a look at him too, but they extended him a bit too quickly, which was annoying for me. Charmig's good climber. And then you've got Tiller, the big boys, Tiller and Christoph as the sprint lead out with Johannesson. You never know what he could do maybe on stage 1 or other stages. Do you think that'll be it, Benji? Try and go for GC? And because Johannesson GC is not happening. He can't climb right now. So I think he has to just do Ciccone style and go for, or not even Ciccone, he's better than him. Conrad style in week 2, sort of stage 12.
When it comes to Tobias Johannesson, I feel like the Dauphiné's climb wasn't terrible. 15th, that's not saying that he can top 10 GC though. So I would like him to be the Pirate Panther style, where he might lose time initially, then goes in breakaways, and you never know that the breakaways might lead him to 11th, 10th in GC at the end. Which is unlikely, but at least he might get opportunities for breakaway stages then.
True, and Vingegaard said actually on stage 6 in the Dauphiné, it wasn't caught on camera, he was the man attacking that Vingegaard responded to, so he's in decent shape. I just question the long climbing, but again, yeah, they bring their best possible team. They're going to want to show themselves, that's for sure. UNOX, getting that first big wild card to the tour. And so yeah, sprints with Christoph and then breakaways. They're going to want to mix it up. So yeah, and obviously because there's no B&B this year, they got their spot. Are we ready for the stages, Benji?
I'm ready for the stages. There's one important thing to know during these stages. Obviously, 21 stages, as always. Tour de France is happening. There is no rest day after stage 3 because we're starting close to France and Basque Country this time around. So we're hopping straight 9 days straight from the start. And most importantly, we're reintroducing the bonus seconds on some climbs in the race. So there's some climbs and stages that give 8 seconds for the first rider, 5 for the second, and 2 for the third. What's your reaction to that?
I mean, I don't know if they. I think a lot of them are just going to get taken by the break.
I'm not sure. I think there's maybe 3 or 4 that will be taken by GC riders, and 2-3 that will be taken by breakaway riders.
Yeah. But anyway, I think I remember on say in Tour de France 2020 they had them on top of Marie Blanc, and that was when Roglic nearly chopped Pogačar. In hindsight, he probably should have full chopped him and then kept riding. So rookie error there. So it can make people, sprint for the top of climbs and make something a bit more exciting 25 k's out from the finish. But to be honest, you have it at the top of Col de la Loze, it's like, well, fuck. I think they were going to go full gas on Loze anyway.
Is it there?
I'm pretty sure there's one on top of Col de la Loze.
Oh, okay. Because this morning I checked and I didn't necessarily see like the B on it, but there's
Maybe I'm wrong.
they've already adapted a few, by the way. There was supposed to be one on stage 1. Stage 1 is Basque Country time, eh? We're getting to Basque Country for arguably one of the more explosive starts to a Tour de France. That I've seen in a very long time. I can't remember a stage 1 like this for the life of me. And
This is harder than the Brittany ones, right? This is harder than the Brittany ones, Alaphilippe one.
Yeah, Landernau in Brittany was a pretty damn good start with a punchy finish, but this is harder in the sense that this is kind of a copy-paste of this Spanish classic called the Circuito de Getxo, but with higher climbing before we get to the second last climb. We've got the combination of the Alpe de Vivero, called the Vivero in France, and the Pic Bidea, or the called the Piquet, or what it's called in French. That is what we've got in this stage. It's a stage of 182 kilometers, so pretty long, but I'm gonna guess that this will be going to the peloton, knowing that so much is on the line. The first marathon is on the line.
Yeah.
Obviously, people want it. Now the Alto de Vivero, that second last climb, is 4.3 kilometers, 7%, with roughly 30 kilometers left in the stage, and then we've got the Col de Piquet, 2 kilometers, 9.9%, which is a bit of a fake news climb. That 2 kilometers,
The last K is
9.9.
hard.
It's like Muur de Huy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hard. And then the finish as well. So that's 10 k's from the finish, the crest of that. Then there's a little false flat downhill plateau, and then not much of it. There's really not much flat. There's maybe a couple of k's, and the uphill finish is actually 1 kilometer at 5.5%. It is not a flat finish. 5.5% uphill after that, fatigue in the legs. There's no sprinters are not making this. Pedersen, I don't think Pedersen makes this. I don't think Philipsen makes this. Therefore, maybe the next day, this is properly hard. We could even see. I'm expecting GC gaps on Côte de Piquet. I'm expecting guys to get dropped, and because there's about 10 k's or 12 k's of flat after the Vivero into the base of that. The shit fight into the base of that climb is going to be unlike anything you see except for Tour of Flanders. It's like Omloop into the base of a major climb, the Molenberg thing. It's going to be like that.
Is it Calais all over again?
See, the difference there is this is harder. Those were shorter climbs. You know, these are the Vivero's 4.5k, 7%. I think sprinters already are going there. Groeneweggen's gone there, and then maybe even Philipsen. Honestly, Pedersen maybe survives. And then if you're Jumbo, Benji, do you want to just
Watching a
drop all the
podcast?
sprinters and then
Dude, I fucking,
because he's my
dude,
favourite
I
in the
fucking
stage.
choked my fucking
It's
sprint,
shocking,
dude.
huh? Because like
I went too
reflecting
late.
at it, and we're thinking about what can Bernard do here with Vingegaard.
Where'd
so
you
far,
go,
the
the
only
mall?
thing I can see that Bernard can do here is try and steal bonus seconds.
Oh,
from
you gonna
Pogacar
order a
for
bunch of
the
shit?
That should be
Order
his
a
goal
bunch of
here.
shit?
Because
That's nice,
there's
dude.
nothing that Bernard can do that will make
Nice
Vingegaard
haircut.
beat Pogacar I think, in the
Yeah.
sprint at the end of this thing. And
A lot more value for money.
maybe Jumbo gets lucky and Pogacar's in the back position and someone else wins and someone
What?
else does it through. First spots in Alaphilippe for Pitcock and Binion. Those are the riders I'm saying.
What?
I like saying blue, but
I think it's even
You fucked it up?
No, Aaron.
too hard for Bing.
It's so
The
hard.
front was
It's
so
so
much
hard.
shorter
And they are going
everywhere
to
else.
launch it.
So I
like,
would over here be way
it's
longer.
very
than I
difficult,
could
and there's not much time to
Yeah,
come
but-
back. There's less time to come
Okay.
back than Calais, and then it goes uphill
Ah.
again,
Up,
and then you'll let
Alright.
True.
except
True. But like,
give
if
it
we
a
say
fade,
this is like the
shift
other
and
way,
fade.
is
Yeah.
it not too hard for a lot of these punchers?
I think it's almost too hard for Van Aert.
Is it good enough? Because it's 20 kilometers from the finish line.
No, 10Ks.
Or 10 kilometers from the finish line. My bad. Right. Yeah, you're right. It's 10 k's from the finish line. Like, there's not a major gap between that and the next hill. So,
Alaphilippe should, I mean, based on, I thought Alaphilippe was going to be the favourite, and now, like, I mean, Dauphiné is good. I'm going to try speed run the stage a little bit more.
Legs are not
But
feeling good today.
I'm thinking Poggy wins the stage, Poggy takes first yellow.
damn it.
Sprint was good though.
I'm gonna go with.
Apparently
I'm gonna
the
go
Watts
with someone
will get
else,
on it.
man. I'll go with Pitcock. I feel like
Okay.
on one end, I believe that Vanat can compete for the stage with Pogacar and so forth. That the way to go is for him to climb to the bonus seconds. But Alaphilippe will be there. Pitcock will be there. I'm gonna go with Pitcock. I don't have high hopes either for that because I'm actually on the Pogacar fan, but I can't select the same rider. So that's what I'm going with. Aramburu is gonna be my dark horse, and that brings us to stage 2, which you can lead in.
This is from Victoria Gasteiz to San Sebastian.
What?
This is again a Helio Bounce stage, 200.
My X race is time is right now.
Right profile. I downloaded it a while ago, but this is what it is. It's basically
What?
rolling hills. So
My X race is at 12:30.
Control a breakaway. It won't be easy.
Yeah.
With all those hills, and then the Hayescabel from the north to south. So this is from Hondarribia side down towards San Sebastian. The easier side, I would argue, 8.2 k's, 5.2% with the last 3.5 kilometres at over 7%. Back crest just about 20 k's from the finish before a pretty fast percent into, and then a flat section into San Sebastian. This is a flat finish. A little pick up beforehand, but this is a flat finish. I am going with Clapping up to win the stage, Benji, because I think Philipsen doesn't make it.
I
Yeah, that doesn't-
agree with you on that. I think Philipsen might dive just before the top or something like that.
Pedersen
I don't know.
will.
Really?
I see Pedersen better climber than Philipsen. I'm not sure, but I don't think he makes it.
Okay. I
Will
think
Ford
that
make it.
this is something Binion should survive, right?
Yeah, Vinny in really good shape. Should an attack over the top of that? Could we see? I wouldn't be surprised. Ciccone, remember Ciccone attack with Bardet
Bilbao.
in the Vuelta? Yeah, maybe Baskai goes full threat of death. The problem is the flat section afterwards, or certain craft over the top for Alpecin. Because if Philipsen is dropped, well, there's no use holding his hand.
Aramburu.
Oh, we forgot Van der Poel.
I mentioned him. He's gonna be there to sprint, but
Yeah, trust
is he
him.
gonna be? He can win this. Like, let's be honest about it. He can win
Yeah.
this, but I kind of feel like avoiding Van der Poel and Van Aert because you're mentioning them anyway. So, how's it go for me?
Okay, can't disagree with that. The third stage, this is a stage 4 that sprints 190 k's from Amaropieta at Charno to Bayonne. So we cross the border back into France, and we have a 5k, 5% climb at the start, and then it's rolling hills once again. I think this will be a pure sprint stage. There is a 4k,
Mhm.
3% big ring climb with, if I can count, about 20 k's from the finish. I think this is a Jasper Philipsen special with some. This is not an easy stage. it is still a hard stage. I think the break will require some chasing, and I think Jasper Philipsen gets the job done and wins the first sprint.
I gotta be honest, it's
Fuck.
You can
It's
pick the
hard for
same as
me.
me.
Yeah, it's hard for me to start picking different riders every time because I agreed with Pogacar stage 1, I agreed with Van Aert stage 2, and I agree with Philipsen stage 3, so I agree with that, and it doesn't necessarily change towards stage 4 either, because yes, that's another sprint stage, and stage 4 has a bit of a different finish than the regular one. It's false flat for 800 meters, which arguably makes it more likely for me that Philipsen will win. Yes, Jakobsen was good on the slightly uphill sprint that we
Bennett
saw.
was fucking good on them.
Yeah, but he's not in this race.
I know. That's why Bennett on an easy stage with a false flat. He was. I remember Paris 2021. He fucking destroyed everybody in the hoods.
Yeah. Is this the kind of sprint stage where, knowing that it's 800 meters false flat, that a Van Aert, that a Pedersen, those riders will be able to pick up some more points that they would do in the pure sprints, knowing that, for example, stage 2 was 50 points. Van Aert's going to be up there in the green jersey points, even with Philipsen winning these two stages. So, what's your thoughts?
Hell yeah.
I'm going with the big boy. I'm going with Groenewegen to win this sprint.
Okay.
Him or Fabio. I think this is the first. This is a pure nailed-on sprint. I know it's a little bit uphill, but I don't think they'll care too much.
Do you want to DJ my next race?
Actually, I will go with Fabio. I'll go with Fabio. Quickstep.
Dude, I'm bored.
Quickstep didn't win. They just win Tour de France stages, and I think this is a. Yeah, they also will have circled this one as perfect for Fabio. So, and as you said, Benji, I think to date, all the intermediate sprint points which we haven't mentioned were all so early in the stage that they were irrelevant for. I don't see Philipsen or Van Aert taking any points off. They'll sprint for them, but they're not going to go in the breakaway for them. But yeah, this is the same for this one. And oh, sorry, one thing we did say, there is a bonus sprint on top of Hayescabel. This Poggy, I think Poggy will go for it, and then yeah,
Yep.
I think he'll probably take those seconds, and I think Gabo will take 5 behind them. But yeah, who have you got? I've got Fabio for stage 4.
Yeah, I had Philipsen again for stage 4.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
I mean,
I
it's
do.
true. If you think he's the best sprinter, I think I did this in the Giro. I just picked Pedersen or someone for every stage, and then
How wrong were we?
Yeah, true. In stage 5, I think I'm doing the odd one. 162 Ks. This is a repeat of the stage 9 of 2020. If you want to go and watch a stage exactly the same parcours before, from Pau, where sort of the gateway to the Pyrenees, Pau to Lorraine. Yes, that's right. We're already in the Pyrenees in stage 5. Flat first 70 Ks. There is an intermediate sprint there, so this is already we're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
If Van Aert's, the problem is if he's in yellow. If he's in yellow, it becomes a little bit harder to get in the breakaway.
Yeah,
But I don't
not.
think he is. Yeah,
Does
he feels
Philipsen
he
not
does.
see a flat intermediate sprint after 30, 40 kilometers and be like, I might as well go for it as well?
He has to
Like,
get in the break. Philipsen has to.
So he can counter what Van Aert is doing. Philipsen hasn't necessarily shown that before, but I'd love to see that.
Oh, he's a good
And
rider.
like you said, there's an intermediate sprint there. There's also a bonus seconds thing on Muddy Blanc, so very similar to Hayescabel. Pogacar is likely to take those seconds unless there's a breakaway ahead, which is possible on the stage.
I mean, yeah, they've got the Col du Soudet beforehand, 15 Ks at 7%. That's actually one of the longest, consistent pieces of climbing over 7% we have in the race, apart from Tourmalet and Paul de la Rose. But there's, and Grand Colombier. But there's a lot of flat after that. And so if you don't know Col de Marie Blanc, it's 7.7 Ks, 8.6%. This might have been the first ever climb we thought of fake news climb, because it's basically 3-4% for the first 4-5 Ks. And then it kicks up the last 4 Ks is about 10.5%, and there's a bonus gate at the top. I'm not as convinced that Pogacar on this climb will so easily take the seconds ahead of Vingegaard.
Okay.
I think 4 Ks, 10.5% after a reasonable amount of climbing. I'm less convinced. On Hayescabel it's different, 3 Ks, 7%
Well,
after a sprint stage. It's pretty obvious he'll win that sprint, but this one, I'm not so sure.
If he doesn't, I'm slightly worried for the rest of this Grand Tour that Vingegaard will be simply better than Pogacar.
We'll
Because
get to
these
my thoughts on
shorter
GC
climbs-
later.
Okay? Because looking at these stages, these are the ones where I believe Pogacar needs to be able to have a stand to be able to compete for GC.
So will they ride for the stage then? He's
I
won here
don't
before.
believe
His
they
first
will.
tour win.
I don't necessarily believe they will. Because there's so many rides that will try and be in the breakaway. Let's go over the list for a second. Turns Van Gils, Alaphilippe, Zimmerman, Aramburu, Bettiol, Commandant, Lutsenko, Quinten Hermans, Pitcock, Woods, Clark, Simmons. All these riders could try and go in the
Van
breakaway.
Aert, Van Baarle, Van Aert,
Van der Poel?
Van der Poel, Søren Kragh, if you haven't mentioned him already. Like, you're right.
Turns wins.
I mean, yeah, I think this is the Israel one. Jorgensen, I would like Jorgensen in the break here, so I tell you, just bin off 20 minutes and get in the break. I'm picking Jack Hay for this stage.
Really?
Dude, he's so biased for
yeah,
Jack
I see
Hay.
that one coming.
Home cook, some home cooking. Picking for this stage.
Some home
Yeah.
cooked, you mean?
Well, I gotta go with my boys sometime. I haven't picked an Australian. Have I picked an Australian yet? Anyway, you think there'll be GC gaps here? I don't think so.
Not
Because
between the
UAE,
top
right?
guys.
They're not getting someone in the break. They're Jumbo, without Jumbo getting two in the break. This time here you get fucked.
Maybe there's some rider that loses time today, and we see the first cracks in their armor when it comes to a potential top
Oh yeah,
five or
Mary
something
Blonde,
like that.
baby.
But I don't necessarily
That's
see
the
it for the
next
top
one
rider. So maybe an Ineos rider disappears on. But maybe that
In
happens on that
2020.
stage.
Well, they
Yeah.
lost like 9 seconds. There was two groups of four. They lost 9 seconds in 2020. It wasn't a big deal. Exciting stage, but not huge gaps. Stage
Dude.
16.
Stage 6
Souleur,
starts in
Mary
Table. We've
Blonde,
got
stage
the Tourmalet stage, basically.
5,
It sounds a lot more
Tourmalet
scary
stage
than
6.
it is in reality
After
for BC in my
Basque Country,
first
that's
opinion.
insane.
Because halfway the stage we've got the Col d'Espagne 12 kilometers 6.6%. We descend towards the bottom of the Col du Tourmalet, which is a souvenir of Jacques Godet, which I've no clue what that means. More points on top? Or some prize of like you get more money? Or
Yeah, it's $5,000.
Ah, well, okay.
But I don't think double points, only on Loza.
Okay, that's good to know. That's 70 kilometers, 7.5%, 7.4% that Col Tourmalet. But then we go into that valley which often has headwind towards Col Terret, and Col Terret is a really, really easy climb. So it's like 5 to 6% for 16 kilometers basically. This is to me the kind of stage that goes to the breakaway. I don't see GC gaps from the greatest guys because I don't see anyone attacking on the tour line.
And again, we have the intermediate sprint 50k's in after a rolling start. Maybe the break forms on the 5.6k 5% climb, and Van Aert gets in there and takes points off Philipsen. It's a shame Christophe Laporte. I mean, Christophe Laporte in another universe could win green at this Tour de France. So it is. I would be very interested to see break formation here. This will be. You must watch this stage. I'm a little bit more ambitious for this stage, Benji, because we don't know how Poggi will go on Tourmalet. We don't know what the pace will be like on this stage. I know it's far from the finish, but we will see how UAE will play Yates and Poggi. I think UAE will play this stage. I don't know. They could also go for the stage win, but I think they will play super passive. I think UAE will do nothing on this stage, and I think Dylan Turns wins this stage, to steal your earlier pick, but I think he's better in the proper mountains.
Okay.
And so I'll take Dylan Turns here. Israel will be trying to get in every single break, and I think guys will lose big time on Tourmalet, like someone like Landa or Carapaz or Mas. One of these guys and two of the Ineos guys are gone on Tourmalet.
That's a possibility. I would kind of enjoy seeing a Pitcock breakaway on this day.
Perfect finish for him.
I agree. The problem
Tourmalet
is that
downhill
you
would be
might go
perfect
for
for
GC still.
Pitcock.
It'll be too close. You have to deliberately lose a lot of time before this.
Exactly. So an Alaphilippe, for example, should have lost time by this time. Because even if he drops a bit on the Tourmalet,
On Marie
he's got a
Blanc, he
huge
will
descent.
stop trying.
So there is a possibility here to go for the stage if he does that. Prince Simmons, I'm like on the brink of believing.
Yeah. It's Nico Denzier, Patrick Conrad.
Schultz?
No shock.
Schultz, yeah, in Mejev was sort of a 20k,
Ciccone?
5% finish. Ciccone, all these guys, a lot of. Now, the problem for them though is
These guys are
it's
knocking
a
over
short
the Tourmalet.
stage and it's not that long
The
before the
break.
Col d'Aspin. So, really, if the break goes on the Côte de Cap Vert, which is 30 k's in, you basically have 25 k's where you have to build out your advantage of flat before the climbing starts. So, I don't think it's a guarantee. Of course, you need the tug buddy. I don't think it's a guarantee that the break wins. I think this will be a very, very good stage, even though it maybe looks a bit meh. Stage 7, in contrast, from Mont de Marsan to Bordeaux. This is a pure sprint, 170 k's. I'm going to switch to Groenewegen and Benji because I went with Fabio for the other pure sprint. I'm just going to pick a different sprinter for every sprint stage.
Wellsford is mine for this one then.
Ah, fuck.
I'm taking the
you
Aussie.
pick Wellsford before me.
Because I'm the real
Yeah,
supporter
you're
of
real
Sam.
Australian.
Yeah. Anyway, next stage. This is not a pure sprint stage. Libourne to Limoges, 201 kilometers. We've got first half is falls flat. There's an intermediate sprint in there, but the second half has some hills and they're not super hard, but it's up and down. It's like 2.8 kilometers at 5%, 1.3 kilometers at 5.3%. The last of the climbs is like Col d'Assurvienne, which is 1.2 kilometers at 5.4%, which roughly, I'm trying to guess here how many kilometers that is. I'm gonna guess with roughly 10-ish, 12-ish kilometers to go, that climb arrives. And the last ramp is 700 meters at 4.3%. So, is this the Pedersen versus Van Aert versus Philipsen more versatile than a pure sprint?
Lecoq! Lecoq takes his first Tour de France stage. He breaks confidence drought. Bracoca wins in Limoges. Come on, he has to do it. This is actually perfect stage for him.
But it's not fucking
A
happening.
little bit of attrition. Dude, you see him on Wollonga in the town. That's a
Man,
similar finish. He
Wollonga was a decade ago.
He gapped Bettiol, dude. He put everyone on a big gap. Alexis Renard. I'm going with Brian Coquart to win this. Zangler Renard lead out. They're going to
Dude,
come on, Lecoq.
Brian
This has got
Coquart,
to be
stop.
for him. Laporte could win this in a finesse attack. Again, could Laporte win this? Maybe. Could Van Aert win this? I don't know. Maybe they should just swap leading out.
5.
One of them could also win, but I'm going with Lecoq, and I'm very excited about it.
Okay.
Who'd
I'm
you
gonna
go?
go for. I kind of feel like this is the Philipsen stage for me as well, because
Not MVDP.
this is the the stage where pure sprinters might get in trouble, but Philipsen might survive. Yeah, Van der Poel can fight for the stage, but that's the problem when you have both of them in your bloody team, eh? The
Yeah,
peloton
it's
will be
tricky.
big enough for Van der Poel to say, "Oh, it's a bunch sprint. I don't like it."
Is that how he speaks?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going Philipsen. Fair enough. Stage 9, 182.4 kilometers from Saint-Léonard-de-Noblat to Puy-de-Dôme. This is... there's 3 categorized climbs. There are only Cat 4s and Cat 3s before the HC climb, offering full KOM points at the finish before the first rest day. But there's 3,000 meters climbing, 3,500 meters climbing in this stage, and that's, not all from Puy-de-Dôme. The intermediate sprint is at the end of a significant hill where we will see the break forming there in the first 30 kilometers, and this is one of the stages we will really see whether Van Aert is serious or not about I'm
Yeah.
not going for green, because I bet you we will see him sprinting to join a break or something, and Philipsen dropping here, and Pedersen probably trying to get the break. Lumpy and then Puy-de-Dôme again.
Yeah,
Frankly, is fine. Sorry, go on.
5 kilometers, 4%. Will Philipsen really capitulate trying to follow Van Aert up there to try and sprint against him?
Yeah, but it's not just, it's like everyone's already been jumping for 20
Yeah.
Ks. Then you're jumping with Simon Clark, with Bill, like, it's more the dynamics of it.
My dude, Van der Poel, Tug Buddy.
Yeah, of course. Søren Kragh Wonderful, not bad tug buddies to have. But yeah, the finish, Puy-de-Dôme, 13.3 kilometers at 7.7%. The biggest fake news climb I've ever seen in history of cycling. In fact, this is fraudulent. This profile from ASO. Perhaps I need to research some French law. This is a fraudulent profile. Because it's called this 7.5% average. It's basically 5k 7.1%. There's then a 2k section. a 4k section of, less than 4k, it's 2-3k section of false light uphill. And then the last ramp is 5.1k, it's 11.1%. Around, the road goes around the Peter Dome outside of Clermont-Ferrand up to 1400 metres. This is going to be stinking hot most likely. I think this will be one of those, you know how Mond and like the pre-stage Puy-Marie, which is stinking hot and really hard all day? I think this is going to be like that before this climb. And, but I don't expect huge GC gaps here either. It is still only a 5k 11% climb, and there aren't any even 15-minute climbs beforehand to put in some fatigue.
My question for you is, because I don't know the answer myself, so I'm shipping it off to you. At this point in the race, based on what we've said so far, Pogacar taking a bonus second on Heizkebel, Pogacar being able to potentially win stage 1 while Vingegaard can't. You haven't really had a moment where you say, this is the moment for Vingegaard to strike out, so I've used to mentioning maybe Tourmalet could rise up some weakness at Pogacar's camp. But I feel like this is the one moment where I believe we can actually see differences between the two riders. This is where Vingegaard might be able to strike if he's indeed better than Pogacar. This is where Pogacar can strike if he's better than Vingegaard, which is the least likely. I think at the moment Dauphiné is showing that Vingegaard is looking to be better on paper, but who knows, everything might change by the time we arrive on Puy de Dôme. But if we see this part where I'm like, is anybody gonna fucking control this stage?
And
Or
it's a
will it go
hard,
to the
it's a hard
break?
stage. It's a hard-ass stage to control for 4 hours, 160 kilometres all the way around to Clermont-Ferrand in the heat. It's a hard stage to
Little
control.
Bardet
with,
stage.
as I said, someone like a Dylan Turns, I should probably Walt Pauls or
Ciccone?
maybe someone's fallen out. Yeah, Ciccone. People have fallen out of GC at this point for whatever reason, and a Thibaut Pinot. So I'm going with Thibaut Pinot to win the stage from the break. Oh, sorry. I just
It's okay. It's okay.
That's name I saw. I think Simon Yates could have done a Simon Yates thing already, and he's suddenly in the break with a tug buddy and just torches everybody on this climb. Wouldn't surprise me. I'm going with Pinot. And I don't think there's going to be huge gaps. I think Poggy and Jonas, one will attack. They'll be in the wheel. They'll kind of stop a bit. Hindley, O'Connor and Co will come back. There'll be a sprint at the end. They'll lose 15-20 seconds. The Hindleys and O'Connors of this world, and I don't think it's going to be huge gaps.
Ciccone wins the stage from me from the breakaway.
Yeah, good for him.
It is good, but I'm also like, they have to make the breakaway on that uphill section at the start, though, for him to be in the breakaway.
Oh, they got the team though. Simmons has got to help. Simmons can help him out. He's good for this role.
Yeah.
I really think Simmons can be a big help for him there. That's the first rest day where I think
Holy first week, dude.
there's some GC stages. There's stuff in the parkour to offer, but it might be small gaps at the first rest day, regardless. Before stage 10 binge.
Puy de Dôme will have gaps, but it won't be outrageous. It's not going to be 3 minutes yet, so which is good. I don't like 3 minutes at the first rest day, and we're heading into the second week, and this is where we do get that bit of a second week feeling for the first few stages, because every single time the second week has kind of more transitioning stages sometimes, and we see that here with the next stage being Vulcania to Issoire. We've got a stage that is odd, I would say. It's a literal transition stage, the way you look at it. It's got climbs for the first 90% of the stage, and then it's a descent to the finish line basically. So there's climbs for breakaways to form. There's nothing at the end of the stage that is hard enough necessarily to really make differences for GC. So there's nothing that shouts GC riders are going to try and keep it together. And it's like a tiny bit too hard to control for me, for the Pedersens of this world, definitely for the Van Aerts of this world who have GC rider to take care of. That they might go in the breakaway instead. So I've got Van Aert in the breakaway, Van der Poel in the breakaway, Pidcock, maybe even Pedersen trying, maybe even Alaphilippe trying, Schultz, Wood, Simmons, William Clark, Mohoric. That's a very good point actually.
Fred Wright, Bob Jungels,
Zimmerman.
Zimmerman, Ben Turner, Castro,
So
Deep Ray.
I'm gonna say it. It's gonna be a 1v1 battle between Van Aert and Van der Poel until the finish line. I want it. I just want it.
Except a group will have gone ahead like on stage 7 in 2020,
Yeah. No,
and Fred
no,
Wright wins this stage. Fred
Oh.
Wright. I was gonna go Morris, but after the British national champs, I think he's broken his duck. I'm going Fred Wright. He's got the wheel. He's broken the.
He's broken
Yeah.
his duck. What
Yeah.
the fuck is that for an
Cricket
expression? Oh, okay, that.
He's gone
that
off the mark. He's finally won a race. He's opened the account.
He's
Fred
flown
Wright.
past the wicket. Is that also a cricket?
Not really. No.
I tried.
Not
I tried.
really.
The only word I know from cricket, so.
Who have you got?
Yeah, I don't really believe in Bernard and Vanderpool are going to get outplayed by other riders in reality. I don't. This is difficult. Fuck it, I'm going to go for Vanderpool for this stage. Because I feel like I have skipped him for a lot of stage where he can fight for the stage win, so I'm going to take him for this one. And that's my take on this one. But it's also, I don't know how many points this specific stage gives when it comes to points, but let's say it's 50 points again, which
I think it's
I would expect it to be 30. But if it is 50, then Bernard is gaining another bit of points if he is indeed in the breakaway, huh?
Exactly. I mean, if you are in the break, I think stage 10. Yeah, it's a 30-pointer, but still,
Okay.
third on a 30-pointer. Third on a 30-point stage gives more points than third in a pure bunch sprint. It gives 22.
Really?
Yeah, this is a consistency in Hilly. It's all about consistency, so you can take a lot of points. Anyway, stage 11. It's a pure bunch sprint, I think, 180 k's.
Let's roll out the IT
I'm
man
going
for this
with
second
Welsford to win this stage. I do
Bit
like
late,
to pick
huh?
up. Yeah, a bit late. Who have you got?
I'm gonna go for straight 900 meters. Is this the Cavendish stage?
Oh, true. Yeah.
Why
Maybe.
not?
Yeah. No,
I'll wing it.
I'm saving his pick.
You're saving him for Bordeaux, or? I'm there. Champs-Élysées, fuck off. I'm gonna go for Jakobsen.
Okay. Next stage, 170 k's. This is going to have the same list of characters as stage 10. It's going to be a breakaway. It's 170 k's. It's got 3 climbs, like the stage called Brelly beat Godou on, or Conrad maybe in 2021. Like 3 climbs of about 10 to 15 minutes duration, all over 6% smattered together. No one's going to want to control this stage. It's nailed on breakaway for Simon Clark, a Morich, a Conrad.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
this is the kind of stage where those bonus seconds, those 852 bonus seconds, come on like the Croisier climb towards the end of the stage.
Right.
Breakaway will take those seconds. That's one of those things. So I'm going for Mohoric for this one. I feel like it's been a while since
Yeah.
I've seen this man at the front of the Tour de France breakaway, so I feel like for nostalgia purposes, get over here.
I'm going with Matteo Jorgensen winning this stage. He's got the big engine, and I think he can actually hold. He can go solo on that last climb, and he can hold that for 30 kilometers no problem. So I'm picking Jorgensen for this stage. Stage 13. This is as close as you'll get to a La Vuelta Unipuerto, 136 k's from Châtillon-sur-Charleroi to Grand Colombier, 70 k's of flat, a warm-up climb of about 45 minutes, very shallow gradients pretty much before the HC Grand Colombier, which is 17 kilometers, I think.
Yeah.
Pretty long, 17 kilometers at over 7%. Now, problem is for there being big GC gaps is it levels off at the end. And we saw this in 2020 where Pogacar actually beat Roglic when Jumbo-Visma mistimed the lead out. So even though the first 7Ks are 8%, and then there's actually a 3.4K 9% section, it levels off and there's even a rest period. So
Alright. Legs rolled out. Yeah. It's gonna be hard to time this final climb here. I'm trying to get some music that I want. Maybe some Tool. Yeah. Go, baby. Go. dude. What the fuck is going on? This is insane. Yeah, fuck this, dude. Whew. Fuck that, dude. I was not ready for that. That's it for me. Fuck that. Shit the bed on that one. That's alright. Still a good day of racing. Oh, you have your race strength right there.